The river wasn't reflecting the forest. It was showing something else. I'd walked that trail in eastern Kentucky dozens of times. I knew exactly what was supposed to be across from me. But in the water, the trees were wrong. Taller, closer together, darker, not just distorted, different. I looked up at the real shoreline, then back down, two completely different places. I moved. The land shifted with me. The reflection didn't. It lagged, just slightly. That's when it stopped feeling like water and started feeling like something else. Then I saw it. A path. Not on the real side, only in the reflection. Narrow, worn, like people had been using it. I stared at it longer than I should have, because the longer I looked, the less it felt like a reflection, and more like a place, a real one. And for a second, I had a thought I couldn't shake. If I stepped forward, I wouldn't be stepping into water. I didn't step in. I backed up and told myself to calm down. There's always a point where your brain tries to fix things, to force it into something normal. Light, angle, fatigue, anything that keeps the world making sense. So I tested it. I moved left. The real shoreline shifted with me. The reflection didn't. Not correctly. It lagged, just slightly, like it wasn't tied to me the way it should have been. That's when it stopped feeling like a trick of light and started feeling independent. I stood there, maybe 10 feet from the water now, watching it, trying to understand it. And then something changed. Not fast, not dramatic, just off. The path in the reflection looked deeper, longer than it should have been, based on the angle, like it kept going, further back than the real land allowed. I leaned slightly to get a better look, and that's when I realized the trees weren't just different. They were arranged wrong. Not natural spacing, not random growth. Too even, like something had placed them there. That's the part I can't really explain without sounding off, but it didn't feel like a forest. It felt like a copy of one, and it wasn't a good copy. I took another step back, and that's when the feeling hit me. Not fear, recognition, like something on the other side had just noticed me noticing it. I left the river after that. Didn't run, just walked. But I didn't look back. Not once. Because I had this strong, stupid certainty that if I looked at the water again, something would be different. And I didn't want to see what that was. The trail out wasn't long, maybe 15 minutes to the road. I'd walked it enough times that I didn't need to think about it, but something felt off almost immediately. Not behind me, around me. The woods felt thinner. Not visually, everything looked the same, but the depth felt wrong. Like the space between trees wasn't as far as it should be. I know how that sounds, but it felt like if I stepped off the trail, I'd hit something too soon, like the forest had less room in it than before. I stopped once, just to check. I stepped off the trail, maybe a foot, and reached out toward a tree I knew should have been a few steps away. My hand hit bark immediately. I pulled back fast. Looked again. The tree was where it should be. A few feet out, but I felt the contact, clear as anything. That's when I understood something. I wish I hadn't. It wasn't just the reflection that was wrong. It was like whatever was on the other side wasn't staying on the other side. It wasn't crossing over, it was pressing against things, trying to line up. I got back to my truck just before sunset. Sat there for a minute, without turning the engine on. Just listening, waiting for something to follow me out. Nothing did. The drive home was normal, too normal. The kind of normal that makes you question if anything actually happened. By the time I pulled into my driveway, I was already starting to talk myself out of it. Tired, imagination, long day. I went inside, washed up, didn't think about the river again. Not until later that night. I was in the kitchen, getting water. The window over the sink was dark, acting like a mirror. I saw myself in it. Same as always. Same kitchen behind me. Same walls. But something felt off. I didn't move. I just kept looking. And slowly, I realized what it was. The reflection had more depth than the room behind me. Not by much, just enough. Like the space extended a little further than it should. I leaned slightly. The reflection didn't match. Not exactly. And then, very slowly, something shifted in the background. Not a shape, not a person, just space adjusting. Like something had been standing there and stepped back out of view. I turned around immediately. Nothing. Kitchen exactly the same. I stood there for a long time after that, not moving, not breathing right, and I haven't gone near that river since. But sometimes, when I catch my reflection in a dark window, I don't look for myself anymore. I check the space behind me, just to make sure it ends where it's supposed to. The man outside my house wasn't moving. Not when I spoke, not when the lights hit him, and then I realized he wasn't looking at me. He stood at the end of my driveway, facing my house, like someone had placed him there and left. No phone, no movement, just staring. I live outside a small town in southern West Virginia. Quiet road. You notice everything out here. It was after 10. I was in the kitchen when I saw him through the window. At first, I thought it was a reflection, but I moved and he didn't. I turned off the light. He became clearer. Older guy, thin. I'd seen him once or twice, near the old house down the road. I watched for maybe 30 seconds. Nothing. No shifting, no reaction. Just staring at my house, like he was waiting. I stepped outside. You all right? Nothing. Still nothing. That's when I felt it, that cold in your chest, when something's off. I went back inside and watched. A pickup passed. Headlights hit him. That's when I realized he wasn't looking at the house. He was staring at one window, my bedroom. I barely slept. I kept making excuses. Maybe he was confused, maybe drunk, maybe looking past the house. Around midnight, he was gone. No sound, just gone. Next morning, I asked about him at a gas station. Wallace? The woman said. He all right? I asked. She hesitated. He's odd. Wife died. Been standing by the road ever since. Why? She leaned in. Says he sees things in windows. I laughed. She didn't. That night, I left the curtains open. At 9:47, he was back. Same spot, same posture. I hadn't seen him arrive. I walked outside with a flashlight. You need something? Nothing. I shined the light at him. No reaction. Then I saw it. His face. Not blank. Terrified. Not of me, of something in that upstairs room. His lips moved slightly, I stepped closer. The gravel crunched. He stopped, then slowly raised his hand, pointing past me, toward the house, toward the second floor, toward my bedroom window, where the light had just turned on by itself. I ran inside, locked the door, stood there, listening. The house sounded normal, but it didn't feel normal. "Who's up there?" I called. No answer. I went upstairs. Halfway up, the air changed. Colder, heavier, damp. That smell, metal, old, like wet pennies. My bedroom door was slightly open. I knew I'd closed it. The light was on. I pushed it open. Nobody. Everything looked normal. Then I saw the window. Long streaks on the inside of the glass. Not handprints, more like something had been there, watching. I stepped back and looked outside. Wallace was still there, but now he was looking straight at me, shaking his head, slow, warning me, not about the window, about turning around. I didn't move. I just stood there, watching him, while he kept shaking his head. Then I noticed the mirror. It showed more of the room than I could see. The space near the door. Something was there. Not fully, just the side of a face, pulling back too late. Like it didn't match my movement. Like it was a second behind me. I turned. Nothing. Empty room. But the air behind me felt colder. Wrong. I looked back at the mirror. Nothing. Gone. I got out of the house that night. I don't remember how. Next day, I made calls. That's when I found out the previous owner stopped sleeping upstairs. Said something showed up, only in reflections. But it didn't move with you. It lagged, just enough. I saw Wallace one more time in town. I asked him why he stood there every night. He looked tired, then said, "I wasn't looking at your house." He glanced at the glass beside me. I was checking if it followed. I sold the place, but now, sometimes, when I pass a dark screen, I don't move right away, just to see if something else does. I don't live with anyone, but when I came home, the kettle was already hot. Not warm, not maybe I forgot. Hot enough that I dropped it the second I touched it. I hadn't even taken my jacket off yet. I'd been gone 2 days. Drove back late. My place is out in eastern Slade. Quiet road, old houses. No one close enough to notice much. Everything looked normal outside. Inside, didn't. The air felt used. Not stale. Used. Like someone had been moving through it recently. And it smelled like black tea. The burner was off. That's what I checked first. Then the sink. One mug, mine, rinsed but not clean, still damp. I stood there longer than I want to admit, just listening. Fridge. Clock. Nothing else. No movement, no second set of footsteps, no sound that shouldn't be there. So I did what people always do. I explained it away. Told myself I forgot. Told myself I was tired. That driving at night messes with your head. I picked up my bag and went to the bedroom. That's when I stopped. My spare duffel, the one from the closet, was already on the bed. Unzipped and laid out on top was a gray t-shirt, the one I had been planning to change into. I hadn't opened the closet yet. I hadn't even stepped into the room before that moment. I picked the shirt up slowly. It wasn't just warm. It felt like it had been worn. I didn't leave this time. I probably should have. But something about it didn't feel like a break-in. There was no mess, no rush, no signs of searching. Everything felt intentional, like whoever had been there knew exactly what they were doing, or like it wasn't whoever at all. I went back to the kitchen and stood by the counter, trying to slow my breathing, trying to think in a straight line. That's when I noticed the light. The kitchen light was on. I know for a fact it wasn't when I walked in. I remember the darkness. I remember seeing the steam from the kettle because of it. Now the whole room was lit. I didn't touch the switch. I just stared at it. And that's when something small hit me. Not fear, recognition, like this had already happened, like I was slightly behind something. I turned slowly toward the hallway, half expecting to see someone there. Nothing. But the house didn't feel empty anymore. It felt occupied. Not loud, not obvious. Just not mine. The office door was open. I keep it closed. Always. No reason, just habit. The lamp inside was on. Soft yellow light spilling into the hallway. I stood there for a few seconds before stepping in. My laptop was open, screen awake, no sleep mode, no lock screen. Just a blank email draft, addressed to me. No subject, the cursor blinking. I walked closer. There were faint marks on the desk, not wet, just slightly darker than the wood, like something had been there and dried. I don't know why, but I checked the timestamp. Saved 10:42 p.m. It was 10:38. I remember that clearly because I checked my phone right after. I stood there, staring at the time, waiting for my brain to correct it. It didn't. Then, without any sound, the cursor moved. One letter appeared, then another. Then, I didn't touch the laptop. I didn't breathe. It kept going. Slow, steady, like someone typing without rushing. I'm back! The room felt smaller, not physically, just closer, like the air had shifted. I closed the laptop, slowly, and for the first time since I walked in, I felt like I wasn't alone. I left after that. Didn't pack. Didn't turn anything off, just grabbed my keys and walked out. I sat in my truck for a while, engine running, staring at the house. Nothing moved, no lights changed, no silhouette in the windows. It looked completely normal. That was the worst part. I didn't go back that night, or the next. A few days later, I forced myself to return. In daylight. I told myself it would be different. It wasn't. The house smelled the same. Faint tea, warm metal. Everything looked clean, undisturbed, like nothing had ever happened. Until I got to the kitchen. The kettle was on the stove, cold this time. Next to it, a folded gray t-shirt. Not the one from before. This one was clean, flat, unused, placed carefully, like it was waiting. I didn't touch it. I didn't check anything else. I just left again. I sold the house a month later. Lost money. Didn't care. Now I live in an apartment. Different city, different building. Nothing like that place. And for a while, everything was normal. Until last week. I came home late, unlocked the door, stepped inside, and the first thing I noticed was the smell. faint but familiar. Black tea and something warm. I stood in the hallway for a long time. Then I walked into the kitchen, slowly, carefully. The stove was off. The kettle was cold. Everything looked normal, except for one thing. My coat was already hanging on the wall. I don't remember taking it off.